I want us to welcome Dr. Kudzo Seneadza. Hi, Dr. Kudzo.
Hi. Thank you so much, Akwesi. And good evening to all our listeners. It's a real pleasure that we can communicate through this means, even in the rather trying circumstances. And I'm really grateful to God that we can be here today to do this. I really pray that the Holy Spirit himself will use me to be a blessing to you all, that you will leave here having felt that you have gained something. So it's a real privilege, and thanks for having me. I'm going to share my screen now. And much as I love to have things very interactive, because of time restrictions, like Akwesi said, we'll just plow through it, and then the questions will come at the end.
Okay.
Set to go?
Yes.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, Dr. Kudzo.
Great. So good evening, everyone, again. Thank you for joining us. Holy Spirit, I submit to you now, and I say, have your way. Make this an engaging time for us, where you yourself are directly engaging with our souls, with our minds, with our spirits, to help us, to grow us, that we might be able to live fully all that you plan for us. In Jesus' name, amen. Great. So we're talking today about mental health. And like all over the world, you will realize that the focus of health is changing. When it comes to physical health these days, the emphasis is going more and more on prevention and lifestyle medicine, because we're beginning to understand that doing medicine and health is not about treating disease. It's actually more of teaching people and learning together how to best take care of ourselves so we don't get sick in the first place. So there's a revolution happening all over the world where the emphasis is shifting to prevention more and more. There's the same with mental health. Often when we think mental health, we are thinking about psychosis and depression and anxiety disorders and all that. Yes, there's a big part of that in mental health, but just like in all of medicine and health, we are shifting the focus from treating mental illness to now actually looking at the preventive aspects of it. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be looking at how we can prevent mental illness. And it's important to know that mental health is not merely the absence of mental illness, but it's actually mentally healthy adults displaying effective mental function, enjoying fulfilling relationships, enjoying productive activities, and having the ability to adapt and to change and cope with adversity. And that's what resilience is all about. So I'd like us to actually narrow down to resilience and how we can build mental resilience so we can enjoy healthy mental health. Resilience in itself is an engineering term, and it refers to the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape. So think about a spring or a metal with a lot of pressure or weight on it. It will bend under the pressure maybe. If it's very tough, it may not bend at all, but sometimes it will bend under the pressure. But once the pressure goes off, the metal is able to come back to its normal shape, or the spring comes back to its normal shape. That gives an idea of what resilience really is. And just as materials require this strength to be able to come back and bounce back to the original shape, human beings also require resilience to be able to make it through the pressures of life. Because if there's one thing that is certain in life, it is change. Things don't go normal all the time. So we need to be able to mentally maintain a place of stability, so that with all the ups and downs of life, we also come to the same place. But you find that we actually go a step further. It's a process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or even significant sources of stress. That's the American Psychological Association definition. But I said we'll go further because we're actually looking now at not just bouncing back to where we were, but that we exhibit mental toughness, which is the ability to stay strong in the face of that adversity, the ability to keep our focus and determination despite the difficulties that we encounter. A mentally resilient or tough individual sees challenge and adversity as an opportunity and not a threat, and has the confidence and positive approach to take what comes in their stride. All of this can be just neutral at a level of, okay, so I was here. This was my orientation. Trouble came, I got disoriented. Then now I get reoriented back to my normal place. That alone is good enough. But we'll find that resilience actually goes beyond that. And resilience, we're saying that tough situations come. They are tough. They come and shake us, like the whole pandemic has affected us. School has been affected, business affected, family affected, and families are separated in different continents right now. Now, all the things on the radio and the TV about happenings in America, the racial crisis, give stress. Yesterday, I couldn't do much work. I was just mentally so down because of all that's happening in America. So you find that there's so much happening that can actually put us down. But the whole idea of resilience is that in spite of all these challenges, there are things that we can do, things that are under our control, that we can modify and actually grow through the challenges when they come. So that's the role of resilience. It's not just surviving, but actually becoming more resilient, becoming stronger, becoming better, so that when the challenges leave us, we don't go back to where we were, but actually, because of positive responses, we actually become better than we were. To help us set the tone for this, there are some stories from the Bible that I like to share. It gives a picture of what we're talking about here. And my favorite one is the story about Samson. I'm sure we all know about Samson from Sunday school. If you are not a Christian, I will encourage you to go read the story after this and enjoy it. But Samson was a young man who was anointed with power by the Holy Spirit to do exploits. He was strong. The story tells us that one day Samson and his parents were traveling to the Philistines' country because he saw a Philistine woman he wanted to get married to. On their way, it says that whilst he was in chariot behind his parents, the parents were a bit ahead. A lion attacked him. So that was a threat. That was a challenge. That was a difficult situation. That was something to come and disorient you from your place of orientation. But the Bible tells us that Samson held the lion by its mouth and tore it in two like a little goat. Can you picture that? This challenge came to destroy him, but he held it and then destroyed it. He killed it with his bare hands. Then he went back and joined his parents. They didn't even know what happened. And they went to see whatever they went to do and do there. Later on, they were going back to go and do the marriage for this woman. The Bible says that when they got to that place, Samson got out to go to the carcass of the lion. And when he got there, he saw that there was a swarm of bees in there. They had made a honeycomb and a lot of honey in there. So Samson bent down, used his two hands and scooped some of the honey. He ate it. Then he scooped more and he went and gave it to his parents as well. So later on during the wedding ceremony, he gave a riddle to the Philistines. He said, out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. This is a mental framework, a mindset that I think is so powerful and it captures the whole idea of resilience. So the lion was an eater, something that came to eat him and destroy him. But he said that out of that eater, he actually got something to eat, which was the honey. Out of the strong, this big mountain, this huge, strong man that was coming to destroy me, actually got something sweet. It will be good to keep this in your mind and always let it encourage you. When the eater approaches you, when the strong comes against you, remember that it can damage you and destroy you, but that's only one option. There's another option. That out of it, you actually get something to eat. It can promote you. It can bring sweetness into your life. What was meant to destroy can actually give life as well. Amen. And then there's several stories in the Bible. David against Goliath is another interesting one. And David too had experienced similar things with lions and bears in the past coming to attack his sheep. And he had overcome them and built resilience. So when it came to Goliath and the whole Israelite army was so scared, the king and everyone, David had experience. He had built resilience from killing a lion and a bear in the past. So he was able to face Goliath with faith and hope and knowing that he could destroy that. And again, he got promoted from it. That was his ascent to glory and to kingship. Then we can think about Daniel and their friends. We can think about Joseph, who both in the face of adversity, challenges, Daniel was threatened to be killed. His friends also will be put in fire if they don't bow. That was a big challenge. It was like, whoa, serious persecution. This can kill us. But they held their ground and they both got promoted out of it. Same with Joseph. He got promoted out of adversity. So we see that the Bible is replete with lots of stories to encourage us and build our faith, to see that challenges are a part of life. God doesn't promise us a trouble-free life. No. But he promises to be with us. And we can go through the troubles and get better at the end. This mindset is so important, and we call it mental resilience, being able to see troubles and challenges as opportunities for growth. And I'm going to make us look at how we can build mental resilience. The way we build it is to know the factors that influence mental resilience. And once we know those factors, we see how we can build them into our lives on a daily basis or a weekly basis. I encourage us all to have a kind of a jotter or a journal in which we write down all these factors and then see in which ways we can build on every one of these factors. There are 6 of them in all. See how you can build on each of them on a daily or weekly basis consistently, so that overall we are growing in resilience. So these are the 6 factors. Our beliefs and values, which are called a spiritual quotient. And then our affect or emotional quotient, our social capital, our imagination, then cognition or IQ, then finally our physiology or physical fitness. Remember, we are body, soul, and spirit. To prosper in the mind, you need to prosper in the body as well. So physical fitness is a big part of it. So we'll take the first one first, our beliefs and values. And then we see how we can capitalize on these to build mental resilience. So beliefs and values or spiritual quotient. I want to say that all of these factors I'm going to mention, all 6 of them and all the factors under them, I don't want this to be an academic kind of thing. So I didn't put references except for Bible ones. But actually, if you Google any of these things I have put here and just Google how they affect your mental health, you will see a lot of scientific and psychological and sociological research papers written on them. So they've all been proven. They're not just in the Bible, they're not just off the top of my head, but there's a lot of scientific data on all these factors that I'm putting here, and you will see lots of research papers to support them. And the first one I want to talk about is faith in God. We all know that sometimes we are faced with challenges that just are too much for us. They are overwhelming. They want to wear us down and kill us and put us to a place of depression. In fact, some people sometimes under the weight take their own lives, they commit suicide. So it's common knowledge. But one big factor that helps us in times like this is to see life in a framework that is larger than ourselves. We see ourselves not at the center of the universe, but understand that life is bigger than us. And the purpose of life is bigger than us. And nothing does that better than having faith in God, a great and mighty God who created us, who has understanding and knowledge that we do not have, who has power, who has wisdom, who loves us, and who we can trust. That, I would say, is the bedrock that every human being needs to survive. The scientific papers may not talk necessarily about the Christian God, but they will tell you that faith in a higher being is a strong determinant of mental resilience. A lot of research has been done to support that. So it's important that we believe in a God who is. The Bible says to us in Hebrews 11, you must believe that he is, and he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. But he's not just there, but he actually is there for us. He rewards us. He's got our back because he loves us. So there are scriptures there to support that. A mindset of trust in God also helps us understand from the Bible and from the scriptures generally that he works out everything for our good. Can you imagine having a mindset that tells you that no matter what comes my way, no matter how bad it looks like, I know that the final outcome, ultimately, whether I understand it or not, will be for my good. That's a framework for resilience. It gives you a positive outlook on life so that even difficult situations, you see them as opportunities for God to do something good. And then there are several scriptures that build us up to let us know that he who is in us is greater than he who is in the world. Helping us understand that the circumstances around us that seek to bring us down are not stronger than the power of God within us. Then when you have faith in God, it comes to along with certain things, certain disciplines, certain means of grace that have been shown by research to build mental resilience, like prayer and meditation. There are several papers on that now in academia, the power of prayer and meditation in dealing with stress and helping resilience. In prayer and meditation, we take the focus of ourselves. We take it onto this high and mighty God, and He's able to come in and change our perspective on things and empower us so that suddenly the things that look so big and mighty and overwhelming begin to look so small in the face of a big God. Worship does the same. Worship focuses on God and His might and His character and His beauty. And when we do that, the things of this world grow strangely dim. Somehow the cares just go away, our souls are lifted up. And the word of God, like we have seen, builds us up as well. So no wonder Jesus Christ advised us in Matthew 7:24-27, that the wise man will build his house on a rock. He said this rock was his words. He said, whoever builds his life on my words is like a wise man who builds his house upon a rock. Then note, he said, the rains came, the storms will come, the floods will come. And it says that the strong winds blew and the house stood firm. But he said, whoever does not build his life on my words is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rains came, the storms came, the floods came, the strong winds blew, and the house collapsed. So the word itself gives us resilience. The word gives us power. Above all, the whole idea that you have meaning and a framework to see life beyond yourself helps you build resilience and helps you in all the other 5 things I'm going to be talking about. So your beliefs and value system is key. If you pay attention to your spiritual life, I want to encourage you, begin to work on it. Make it one of your goals for building mental resilience. I'll get closer to God. I'll develop my spirit being. Because that's the core of us. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So the body and the soul are just reflections of what we are in the spirit. So please, let's build our spirits. We'll jump on to number 2. The second factor that I'll be looking at for mental resilience is your affect or your emotional quotient. This is very, very, very important. It's more important even than our IQ or intelligence quotient. What is it? Emotional quotient, also known as emotional intelligence, is knowing yourself, understanding your feelings, but also understanding other people's feelings. A person who is emotionally mature doesn't think only about themselves, but thinks about others also, puts themselves into other people's shoes and try to understand them. And by doing that, we avoid a lot of conflict in the world. And conflict is a big, big, big source of mental stress and mental illness. So this is important for our mental health. Get emotionally mature. Understand yourself, understand other people, and know how to relate to people. It involves understanding and accepting the fact that change is part of life and that we will maintain certain emotional qualities throughout our lives and work at them. Because the opposite of all these values I have here are negative and they will steal from your mental health. So I have joy, I have peace, hope, gratitude, empathy, patience or delayed gratification, humility, love, and grace. As you can well tell, all of these ones alone can be the whole 30 minutes talk. So this is like a quick summary of everything. You make notes of it so we can work on them. It's a framework that we get in here so we can work on it. So joy. When there is joy, there can be no sorrow or sadness. When there is peace, worries go away. When there is hope, again, sorrow somehow disappears because you are looking to a better future. And there's gratitude. I'll spend time on gratitude because it's something that we can do a lot about. And once we do that, it affects the others as well. So gratitude is being thankful, learning to appreciate what life throws at us, appreciate what we have instead of what we do not yet have. And gratitude can be grown by intentionally counting our blessings and our strengths on a daily basis. I will encourage building a gratitude journal where you write down every day 5 things that you are grateful for. You find that once you start building the attitude of gratitude, automatically hope, peace, and joy become a part of your life. You cannot be grateful and feeling hopeless at the same time. You cannot be grateful and sad and sorrowful at the same time. You will have peace when you are grateful. You cannot be grateful and not be joyful at the same time. And so we can work on our gratitude, and it will affect all these areas as well. Empathy is a big one. Empathy is the ability to put yourself into another person's shoes and do something about it. On a spectrum, we have people who are antipathetic, people who hate. They don't like people. They just hate people. They're wicked people. That's antipathy. You don't want that. It affects your mental health. It destroys you more than it destroys the other person. Hatred kills you. Then we have people who are apathetic. They just don't care. They don't hate you. They're not wicked, but they just think about themselves only. They don't really care about you. Then we have people who are sympathetic. So they can feel with you. They understand your emotion and they kind of understand you, but they don't do anything about it. But empathy, real empathy, is feeling sympathy and then doing something about it. You can pray for the person, you can reach out to the person, you can give a smile, you can put a pat on the back, you can hold a hand, you can send a little note, you can give money or whatever it is that the person needs. That is what empathy is. And that's what true Christianity is all about. That's what Jesus taught us when he talked about the Good Samaritan parable. It wasn't the Christian brother and sister, the Jewish brother and sisters who helped. It was a Samaritan. He had empathy. He went there, he helped the person out. But you have empathy, it is one of the greatest boosters for our mental health. When you go out of your way to do things for other people, you feel better for it. You feel better for it, the world gets better for it. Right now, I want to encourage all Black people all over the world to feel empathy for the white people. Understand that all this they are doing, they're not all of them are racist, but the white supremacists, they are racist. And why are they racist? If you empathize and try to put yourself in their shoes, you understand they are afraid. They are scared, really, really scared of the Black people. They think that Black people are the reason why they are not getting all the things they should get. But really think about it. 50 years from now, 100 years from now, think about America. It's going to be Black dominated. They see that and they are scared. So when you begin to understand where they are coming from, somehow you begin to see where things are, and you maybe start praying for them as well. That God will give them a sense of value and worth in themselves, and understand that Black, white, it doesn't matter. We are all the same in God's eyes. So I actually get angry as well, but quickly I empathize and I see where they're coming from. And I say, well, I understand. And that helps. Then you can pray for them. That's what the Bible says, pray for your enemies. And you see that everybody gets the better for it. Patience is also very important for mental health. If you're impatient and you want everything now, it gives you stress. And that affects your mental health. We need to learn to delay gratification. We need to learn to say, okay, so I can't get this now, but I will wait until next year to get it. And that helps a lot. It takes away the stress and it gives you good mental health. I'll talk about humility as well. In humility, you don't regard yourself higher than you should. And you also learn to put other people before yourself. So it goes hand in hand with empathy. In humility, you understand your place. It allows you to be able to even bow before God and submit to God. It allows you to also ask for help. Because sometimes, despite doing all these 6 factors that I'll teach you about the things you can do, it comes a place where you are just down mental-wise, in terms of your mental health. Maybe you are depressed. You need to ask for help. Talk to a friend, talk to a pastor, but even talk to a doctor, talk to a clinical psychologist, talk to a psychiatrist. They are there to help. Humility is important so that when you are at rock bottom, you reach for help. To cover all of this, I think, is grace, love and grace. And from my experience, I can assure you, none of us can truly love or show grace to another until we have experienced it. And that's why, again, the spiritual thing is important. And that's why I find Christianity is the strongest form of believing God. Because in Christianity, you understand grace. You understand a God who loves you, who doesn't hate you. You're not struggling to come to God, but he came to die for you because he loves you. When you experience that love, naturally, love grows in your heart. Grace grows in your heart, and you're able to love other people. So this is really important. So we've looked at 2 things so far. We've looked at the beliefs and values or spiritual quotient, and we have looked at your affect or emotional quotient. These are 2 very important factors that determine our mental health. We have 4 more. The third one is social capital. Social capital. What is social capital? Social capital is your support network, the people around you who you can call on at any time when you're in trouble and know that they'll be there for you. The people you talk to, the people you laugh with, the people you cry with when they are sad, and who cry with you when you are sad. When you are happy, those you can invite for a party. That is your social network. When you have been promoted at work, those who you can tell and know they'll be really happy for you. That is your social network. It usually includes family and friends, church, sports people. I put Full Gospel Business and Fellowship International because for me, that's one of my support groups, Full Gospel. You go there, you meet people, but it could be in a club, it could be a sports club, any kind of club, debating club, where you meet people with similar ideas and desires and interests so you can support each other. But it's very important. In fact, a lot of research, including one done at Harvard University, showed that one of the greatest determinants of a person's resilience, not just mentally, but for all of life, how long you will live and everything, is how strong your social network is, especially family network. And if we zoom down further, especially marriage, that's the most intimate network. So we need to build our marriages to be strong and solid. We need to build our families to be strong and solid. We need to build other social networks. And the way it works is not just that they help you when you are in trouble, but subconsciously, without even realizing it, the fact that you just know that you are not alone. You know somebody's got your back. Similar to how we know God has our back, it gives us peace and joy and strength to face the world. The same way you know that you have a close family of people who are there for you when you fall. Without realizing it, at the back of your mind, it gives you energy. It gives you hope. It gives you faith. It gives you zeal. And it gives you courage to try risky things like businesses. Because you know that, hey, even if I fail, I have support network. There's a net that will catch me from falling down. So we cannot afford to underestimate the value of social capital. If you haven't got enough, please start building it now. And in these days, social media has come to help. In a way, it can go against really face-to-face human touch, but it also helps in keeping in touch. I do a lot of social media, keeping in touch with people. It's very important. And the key here is to understand that it's better to give than to receive, as the Bible says. Invest in other people. Invest your time, your energy, your resources, your wisdom, your skills into people without expecting anything in return. That's how you build social capital. So I put here especially strangers, because research has shown that when you do altruistic works, when you do volunteer works, when you just go out and treat people for free, for example, or you just go out and feed strangers on the street, you give money to burgers, you go and teach in a deprived area once a month. You know, things like that boost your mental health big time, more than most things do, according to research. So volunteer, do something free for people. Do something every day. Look back. Have I done something for someone that I didn't expect anything back for? You know, if you can think about that every day, 3 things that you can do for people. Maybe just a smile to a stranger, a helping hand to somebody who fell down. Simple little things, but they do more for you than the person you are doing that for. And research has shown that as well. So, third factor we've spoken about, social capital. There's a test I always give when I do this talk on social capital. And the test is this. Imagine that you are stuck on the motorway at 2 a.m. You had a burst tire, you don't have a spare tire. Can you think of 5 people who you can call and you know that they will leave their bed at 2 a.m. and come and help you? If you can think of people like that, praise God, your social capital is good. But if you cannot think of even 3 people, then I think you need to work on your social capital. So we've looked at factors and beliefs, spiritual quotient, we've looked at affect, we've looked at social capital. We move on to the 4th one quickly, and that is your imagination. God has gifted us with something that I don't know if any other animals have, and that is the power of imagination. The ability to look beyond the current situation, to see yourself beyond how you are now. Unfortunately, this power can be used positively or negatively. People with poor mental health tend to use their imagination negatively. So they see themselves and they see situations and they see it in the negative. Oh, I'm going to die. Oh, I know this corona, I'll get it. People who think that way. Oh, I know that I can never amount to anything. And sometimes it's based on things that people told us in our childhood. Parents or teachers or other adults who didn't know any better spoke negative things into our lives. That's for you, you are too clumsy. That's why you can never amount to anything good. And somehow we believe them and grow with them. But we also tell ourselves a lot of negative self-talk. It's important to change that. The Bible talks about transforming our lives by renewing our minds. Very important to know what God says about you. God says you're a warrior, mighty warrior, like he said to Gideon when Gideon didn't believe it. He said to Moses, you're a deliverer of my people. When Moses thought, I can't even speak, I'm a stammerer. You know, we need to believe what God says about us. And we'll find that we are actually some pretty awesome people. We are mighty people, not because we are good in ourselves, but because we are made in God's image. And he's put certain values inside of us. So we begin to believe these things and we begin to imagine ourselves as being the positive things that we want to be. The picture there shows us a cat looking in a mirror and seeing a lion back. That's what we're talking about. I know that psychology and positive psychology has somehow spoiled this whole thing where people are even sick and they say, I'm not sick, I'm strong. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking here about looking in God's word, seeing what God says about you, admitting that, look, I may look like this is how I am, but if this is how God says I can be, I'm going to grow into that. So building a positive self-image, which is linked to speaking positive things to yourself. Positive affirmations can help us change that. So one of the things that helped me a lot right through my university years and everything, Philippians 4:13, I had to keep reminding myself, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That helped me through difficult medical school exams and everything when I thought, this one is too much, I'm going to die. And I remember that one and I speak it out and I pray and I go on. A positive self-image also is important because if you don't have that, you find that you fall victim to guilt and shame and pity. But remember that if you look in God's word, he's made a way for us to come before him without guilt or shame. In Christ, he accepts us as perfect. So again, turning back to number one, beliefs and values. God's word can help you build a positive self-image. But not just about yourself, but also the future and outcomes. People sometimes just see negative in everything. I know I'm going to fail that test. Oh, I know that I'm going to lose my job. Or if you've lost your job, I know that now that I've lost this job, then it will not be well for me. That is called fortune telling. You are predicting negative things for yourself. But you have to have a positive vision of your future as well. Jeremiah 29:11 comes to mind. For I alone know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a future and a hope. So God gives us a vision of a positive future. If we align our minds to God's word, you find that you can build a positive view of your future as well. And also a positive view of others is important. There are those who don't trust people at all. There's so much suspicion all around. We need to have a positive view of others. Learn to trust people. Learn to receive grace and give grace to others. Grace is unconditional love and acceptance. It doesn't matter what you've done to me in the past. It doesn't matter what tribe you come from or what race you are a part of. Grace means that I accept you in God. Just as in Christ, God accepts me. That is grace. So if you're able to have a positive view of other people, understanding that even the bad, wicked people, but for the grace of God, you would have been like them as well. Then you're able to empathize with them, and then you're able to see them in positive light, and that makes them warm up to you. Sometimes we tend to look down on people who economically and or socially are below us on the ladder. And then we think that they are not our class, they're not our type, and don't want to mingle with them. But for me, most of my blessings in this life have come from people who will be considered to be below me. Because I do not do that distinction. Everybody is my friend. This is not a time to share all those testimonies, but I have many of them. Blessings that came from people in my workplace who would normally not be friends with doctors but they are my friends. So they tell me things that open opportunities for me. Finally, on imagination, I will say beware of distorted patterns. This can also be under emotional intelligence, distorted thought patterns, where our minds deceive us and we tend to see things negatively and see people negatively as well. So I will give a few examples to help you catch yourself when you are thinking or talking like that. So let's say husband and wife are having an argument or talk about something, and then you say, you always do that. That's a problem. Or you never do that. That's a problem because it's usually not true. But our minds get distorted and we tend to blanket things. We generalize, we exaggerate. So that's a distorted thought pattern. That's an example of it. Let's be aware of them and let's catch ourselves when we find ourselves thinking that way or behaving that way. As for these tribe people, they are always like that. As for this, my workers, they are always like this. That steals trust. That fosters fear, and that affects your mental health. It affects your social capital with them. In the long run, it puts you down. So let's be aware of distorted thought patterns and let's try and work on that. So we looked at 4 so far: the spiritual, the affect or emotional. We've looked at the social, and we looked at our imagination. Number 5, we'll look at cognition or intelligence quotient. Also very, very important. This is the mind itself. The mind is the engine house of all our mental functions. So mental health appears to reside over here in the mind. There are physical things on the mind that can affect your mental health, but there are other things as well, soft things that can also affect your mental health. We want to look at them. How do you build your intelligence, your cognition, your ability to think? There are standard things we all know: reading, studying, not just your field of work, but be a general reader. Read magazines on business and other things that do not directly, affect your day-to-day activities, but just try to get knowledge. National Geographic, watch things on TV, documentaries, not just movies, so that we build our minds, we get our brains active and strong. We should be continuous learners. That builds mental resilience. It makes your mind tough. It makes you adaptable. It helps you to connect the dots on different subjects. And it helps you to see opportunities where others cannot see them. Just because you have something on your mind that you read years ago, you're able to see an opportunity someone does not see. So it's important to be those who read all the time. How are we doing with time, Akwesi? Are we good? Okay, I'll press on. We have to be adaptable. This one I cannot overemphasize. Adaptability or flexibility, very, very important. When you talk about resilience, it's like the spring. If the spring doesn't learn to change its form, then it won't be as resilient as it is. When there's pressure, it changes its form. When the pressure goes, it goes back to normal. People who are not flexible or adaptable, they suffer the most when it comes to mental health because they want things to remain the way they are. So they are disorientation, they want to remain at that orientation. Any form of orientation comes in and they are in trouble, they've lost it. And so it's a popular saying that it is not the strong who survive the most in this world, it's the most adaptable. That's what the whole idea of survival of the fittest is all about. It's about who's the most adaptable. If you can adapt to changing conditions of life, then you're able to survive longer. And that's why, up to today, biologists will tell you the most abundant life form in the world is insects. Insects are so adaptable. They change so quickly, they mutate so quickly, and they survive. Human beings need to learn from them. So we have said already that in life, challenges will come. How flexible are we going to become? When the storms come, the big oak trees that are rigid and hard and unbending, at the end of the storm, they are the ones that fall the most. The pliable branches, those ones that are so flexible when the wind is blowing the storm, they just bend with the wind and go. They can go all the way flat on the ground without breaking. As soon as the storm is over, give it a few days, it's that they come back up. That's the role of flexibility. You need to be so flexible that you can move with the changes, adapt and conform somehow, but be able to come back. And it is said that water is the softest thing in the world. Water is so soft. It's also the most flexible and adaptable. Water won't push its way through a rock. No, it will just pass around it, make a way around it. But slowly over time, it will wear that rock down and break it completely. We need to learn to be flexible. But life is full of paradoxes. But it's important to be focused as well. But the balance is, whilst you are focused on your overall long-term goal and your vision, in the day-to-day outworking of that vision, in strategy, in the nitty-gritties of life, we should be flexible and adaptable enough to be able to maneuver, make a few changes here and there while still focusing on our goal and going there. In life, the challenges will come. Corona has come to affect businesses, has affect schools, and this is an adaptation. And actually, this is a good sign of resilience, if you ask me, because normally we wouldn't think of organizing meetings like this. We're going to rent a place, we invite people, people will come and sit there, long hours and all that. But because of Corona, and because we are flexible, the organizers of this thought they could do something like this. And now people are able to come in even in the rain. So it's become a blessing. If this were a physical thing because there wasn't Corona, with this rain, many couldn't have come in there. So that's what we're talking about. When you are flexible and adaptable, when the rains come and the storms come, you change your strategy and actually can become a blessing than if the rain hadn't come. So we can see then that even Corona has become a blessing to many people. Things are getting better. Then critical thinking and problem solving skills are also very important. If you develop your critical thinking and problem solving skills, then when challenges come, you don't feel overwhelmed very easily. We're able to look at them and think through them and work through them and find solutions to them. There are ways you can develop this. You can read about that, critical thinking, problem solving skills. It starts from things, basic things like when issues happen, you ask yourself, why did this happen? Then you get an answer. Then why did that answer happen? Then why, till we get to the bottom. Sometimes when we understand situations, it takes the stress off us. We can attack it at its root, and then you say the problem disappears. So critical thinking is important. The other important tools when it comes to cognition, like time management skills, they can be learned as well. There's no time to talk about all of that, but you can read about it. There are lots of articles on time management skills, and that can help your mental health greatly, because one of the biggest challenges is we are overwhelmed. There's so much pressure from work, so much pressure with handling the kids. So there's this schoolwork I have to do, and there's no time to do it all. And then you feel stressed, mentally you're going down and you're in trouble. So if we learn time management skills, how to delegate, how to do things properly, apportion our time, it takes the stress off us and improves our mental health. Then resource management skills or budgeting, especially in these times, very, very important. Finances are a big source of stress and poor mental health. Challenges come in life and you can lose everything. You lose your job, you lose your savings. How do you survive? Again, flexibility and adaptability. You're flexible in your spending. Your lifestyle might change. You will have to look at your budget and make some changes. Cut down some things. Do some extra things. Very, very important if you're going to be building mental resilience. And finally, under cognitive things, I want to mention cultivating a sense of humor. It is so, so important. It helps you in your social skills. It helps your emotional skills as well. Because sometimes challenges hit us and they are so big and we feel overwhelmed. And if you want to really plow through it, you find that it will break you down. And that's where humor comes in. A good sense of humor has broken tension in several situations. Marriages have been saved because of a sense of humor. When the tensions are so high, then you just crack a joke or you laugh at yourself. You decide that, look, don't take yourself so seriously. It kills your ego. You laugh, the other person laughs, and life goes on. So I really want to encourage us to build a good sense of humor. But apart from that, it helps to manage your own stress as well. If you really, really feel stressed out and you feel your mental health is under stress, one of the things you can do is get a book of jokes or a friend who's very funny. It'll make you laugh, laugh, and you find that the stress disappears. So cultivating a good sense of humor is also a key factor in developing mental resilience. A lot of information, I feel like there's overload, but I'll just plow through to the last one. We have looked at 5 so far: our beliefs and values. We've looked at our affect or emotional quotient, looked at our social capital. We also looked at the 4th one, which was imagination. Then we've got a fifth one, which is cognition. Now the last one. It is the last one, but it's not the least. Looking here at your physiology or physical fitness. All these factors are put here. You can find, again, scientific papers on their importance. They are key. They are so, so, so important. And there are things that some of us do already, but some of us need to build up on. Exercise. It's not just for your body. Exercise is for your mind. When you exercise, more oxygen gets to your brain. A lot of hormones are released, endorphins, serotonins, that just calm you down, take away your stress, but also boost your sense of well-being. The joy of living is increased when you exercise. Exercise is powerful because it releases all those chemicals. And so I want to encourage you, if you don't exercise, please exercise a bit more. Recommendation is about 30 minutes, 5 days a week of moderate activity so that you sweat a little bit. It generally helps you. It fights depression like nothing. And sleep is another important one. If you don't get enough sleep, you get stressed. And once you get stressed, your mental health goes down and you're in trouble. So let's make sure we get at least, I'll say at least 7, but ideally about 8 hours of sleep a day. And not just any kind of sleep, but good sleep. And better if it's in the night, because the body works in cycles. And the body is arranged in a way where when you sleep at night, you get the most rest out of it. So people who do night shift work and all kinds of jobs, they are at greater mental health risk than most of us who don't. So sleep is key. Then rest, not just sleep, but rest, renewal, relaxation. I'm thinking here about the Sabbath, the Sunday or Saturday, the day of rest God has given us. It's important to have a day of rest. Let's not play with it. Because when you go on, you get burnout, your mental health is at risk. But when you learn to relax, learn to take holidays, learn to just go to the sea alone or with your family, just watch the waves, just relax, take it easy, listen to music, watch a nice movie. Anything that helps you relax, please try and do it more often. Don't wait till you break down and then you do it. Put it into your routine. One day a week where I'm taking it easy. Maybe one day a month when we are going to the beach, where I'm having games with the kids. Let's do something to relax. And then there's something else that's linked to exercise, but also relaxation, which a lot of psychologists use to help people who are stressed. It's called progressive muscle relaxation. And usually it is used in combination with your imagination, where they will advise you to, when you are really, really stressed, you can try it. Just close your eyes, sit in a chair comfortably, where you are very, very comfortable, like a lazy chair. Then what do? You begin to picture yourself in a place of relaxation. So for example, on the beach or on holiday in Hawaii somewhere with the umbrella, you can imagine yourself, just picture yourself holding the coconut with a straw in it, with your sunglasses on. Imagine the sun burning on your skin in your bikini. Imagine the sound of the waves. In fact, people go to the extent of even playing music of waves and birds chirping and all that. Create that environment in your mind, and then you begin to take your muscles maybe from your feet. You tense the muscles of your feet, really, really tense them for about maybe 10 seconds, and then slowly release them over 10 seconds. And then you do that for your calf muscles. You do it for your knees, put them together tight for about 10 seconds, and you release them. Do it for your hip, do it for your stomach, do it for your chest, do it for your shoulders, your fingers, all the way to your foreheads. Do it like that. 10 seconds, release it slowly. By the time you do that, the muscles relax so much, it's as if you've got about 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And you feel so relaxed. You find that your mind is fresh, and you're able to face life again. And you can mix. Okay, we got to breathing exercises. Another thing you should take care of is nutrition. Eating well is important for mental health. Not just because some foods can worsen your mental health, like increase your anxiety and all that, like caffeine or tea, but some foods, like even high sugar also, can affect your mental health. But some also help you to remain calm and cool. A lot of vegetables help. A lot of green teas help. Chamomile, for example, can relax you. So generally, eating well helps you. Avoid too much salt, too much sugar. Don't do too much meat. Indeed, if you can avoid meat, it will even help you. Do a lot more vegetables and greens. It affects your mental health. Water, very important. Drinking a lot of water, 2 to 3 liters a day, helps your mental health. When you get dehydrated, the brain doesn't work well. So please, if you're not drinking enough water, drink more water, and it helps your mental health. Then fresh air. You need to go outside and get fresh air, even in the lockdown. Even if you are working from home, go out somewhere, get some fresh air. In the office, not stay in throughout. Get out, get fresh air, and do some breathing exercises. When you're really, really stressed, but actually, I want to encourage that doing these things even before we get stressed. Make it a plan, a time of your day where you just sit down, you relax, and you do some breathing exercises. Maybe in the middle of work, take 5 minutes to do deep breathing exercises. What are they? Normally, when you are breathing, you just go normal breathing. You're not even aware of your breathing. But this time, you want to be intentional about taking in your breaths and bringing them out. So you breathe in for about 5 seconds, count in your mind 5 seconds, hold the breath for that long, and then you release it again over 5 seconds. If you do that, that'll be 10 seconds in and out. So in a minute, which is 60 seconds, you've done about 6 breaths in and out. That has been found to help big time. It just clears your mind, gives you a sharpness, gives you a focus. That just refreshes you so you can go on whatever work you are doing. So imagine it combining that with the relaxation one that I spoke about, the muscle relaxation and the imagination. It's going to give you so much boost to your mental health that you won't believe it. So breathing exercises and fresh air. And finally, sunlight. Because of Corona, it's become very, very important now. Sunlight. In the winter months in the West, a lot of people get depressed. Darkness is not good for our mental health. Sunlight releases vitamin D. Sunlight just boosts our energy. Sunlight makes our outlook on life better. So please don't stay indoors all the time. Get out, get some sunlight every day, and that helps your mental health. So we've talked about a lot of factors. Mental health is not just about the mind, it's about the whole body. And if we look at it all holistically, in all the areas that we have spoken about, we'll see that our beliefs and our values, our affect and emotional or emotional intelligence, our social capital, our imagination or self-image, our cognition or IQ, and our physiology. These are all factors that can be modified. That's the beauty of it. So you cannot say that, as for me, this is how I am. That's why I have mental health problems, or that's why I'm always stressed. Nobody is really just like that. So you find that I haven't talked about temperament, for example, because temperaments tend to be looked at as fixed. And so that's who I am. No, it's not a growth mindset. It doesn't help resilience. Forget about temperament. Personality types do matter, but it can be changed. They are part of beliefs and values and all that, how you see yourself. But these factors are all modifiable. You can do something about each of them. And if you take responsibility for your life, you take a proactive outlook, then you see that life will bring its challenges. We cannot avoid them. But instead of seeing them as things that are going to destroy you, you can actually begin to see them as opportunities for growth and advancement. And something that you can do something about by looking at this framework that I've just given you, these 6 factors. You look at your life in these areas and see what can I modify to help me overcome this situation. I believe that if we do this, we'll find that we are on the way to building good mental health. In conclusion, I'll say that as Christians, when we see the all-powerful God on the throne of the universe, as our loving Father who is committed to our good, we are relieved from much stress. Having a biblical perspective is seeing life through God's eyes. It is seeing order in chaos. It is seeing use in the useless and seeing good in the bad. We see challenges as effective tools in his hands, which are intended both for his glory and our good. That's from Randy Alcorn. Christians see challenges as effective tools in God's hands, which are intended for God's glory and for our good. So challenges don't come to kill us or destroy us unless we allow them to. We can change our mindset, we can look to God, and we can make things better. Thank you very much. This illustration also summarizes what we're talking about. Sometimes in life, everything goes smoothly. Your pencil is intact. And sometimes the unexpected happens. The pencil breaks. The important thing is knowing how to turn these problems into opportunities. Now, instead of one writing surface or writing point, we actually have 3 because the pencil broke. So good can come out of the bad situation. Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. Amen.
Amen. Wow. Dr. Kudzo,
It's over to you now.
That was amazing. I'm dumbfounded. This has been a phenomenal session. So it's 9 o'clock p.m. exactly, and I'm going to take questions. So if you're on the line, you can raise your hands. I see people are texting, but I think we can, if you are ready and you have a question, there's a raise your hand button. Just let me see that so that we can take. Okay, so I have Persiduka. I want to take three questions. From each individual has one question to ask, unless there are no more questions, so that we can have a fair chance. So Percy,
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you very much, Doc. I really got this invite at the very last time. I must say, I've really enjoyed it. God richly bless you for this session. I think that is mine is not really a question, but to ask whether we can get the presentation, because I think this is something you can be chewing on even after, and it will be great if we get the presentation. So that's my little request.
Okay.
okay.
Thanks so much. I really apologize for the late invite to most people. But I think that's one of the reasons that I could see got people to register before they got the link. So you can share the slides with everybody. So
Yeah.
we'll make sure everybody has it so that you can go back to it again and again and do a check every day or at least once a week. See how you are doing in all these areas. Thanks for joining. Thanks.
God bless you. Yes.
Thank you, Percy. I saw another hand up. Okay, Gloria. We'll take Gloria, then we take Mercy. Okay. I'm trying to unmute Gloria. So okay. So if you're a co-host, just hold on. Let me do that. I think we are doing it simultaneously, so I'm unable to do that.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you loud and clear, Gloria.
Okay, thank you. Good evening to you all from Ghana. And thank you so much, Pastor Kudzo, for such a wonderful presentation. My question doesn't necessarily have to do with mental resilience during this time, but I wanted to find out if you've been interacting with someone for a while and you realize that from how they process and react to things, you can tell that it's not really the very, for lack of a better word, say the normal way that somebody should process the issue. How do you, and you have a very strong impression that mentally they might be having some challenge. How do you let the person know that you feel that from how they react and behave to things, you think it would be good if they could just do something about it? How should you approach it so they don't feel some way about what you're saying? Thank you.
That's a very good question. Thanks, Gloria. I believe that a lot of this will depend on your social capital with that person. If you already have a good, trusting relationship with a person, it makes it a lot easier because they know you have their best interests at heart. And so you can point it out to them that, hey, I've noticed this and this and that. I think that it may be helpful to talk to somebody about it. That's one way of doing it. If you do not have that kind of social capital with a person, I think this is a health issue. It's so important that it's not wrong to talk to somebody who has that kind of social capital with them. Somebody who has a relationship with them, maybe a pastor, a leader, a mutual friend you know who's close to them, or their parents or someone, and let them know that this is what you have observed, you're worried about it, because you're not so close to them, you don't know how they will take it, and so you want them to see if they can help. I think it's a very important question because a lot of people suffer silently. Friends notice the changes, but we all don't take it seriously enough, and then before we realize it gets too late, somebody's committed suicide or something else has happened. So we need to find ways of getting to them. If we don't have the social capital, we'll find another way. But also you can build a capital by being kind to them, being nice to them, and build that rapport where you win their confidence so that when you point it out to them, they will listen to you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Dr. Kudzo. Thank you so much for this session. I just want to, I want to ask, how do you self-diagnose? So for instance, how do you determine that you are not mentally resilient?
Mm-hmm.
And at what point should one reach out for help when you realize that you have a challenge?
Yeah. Very, very good question. How do you self-diagnose? There are pointers that we should all look out for. And we've talked about a lot of the things, but I didn't make this medical talks. I didn't talk about symptoms of anxiety or depression or all that. But that's a good question. So I would say that there are things that you can look out for. When you begin to get too anxious, you yourself, you will realize it. That no, this is not normal. This fear I'm getting is abnormal. It's not rational. I've done this so many times. Why am I so worried about doing it suddenly now? That can be a sign to you that no, you need to talk to somebody. Don't wait until it gets too bad. Talk to somebody now. When it comes to something like depression, there are signs you can find as well. Suddenly your outlook on everything seems bad. You don't want to talk to friends. You don't want to meet friends. You don't want to go to church. You don't want to go to work. You lose interest in life. If you're married, you really start losing interest in your partner. You're not interested in sex anymore. You find that your sleep can be disturbed. Either you are sleeping too much, you're not able to sleep in the night. Your appetite for food also, you find that you don't feel like eating. Or for some people, they rather start overeating and binging and all that. So there are several little signs like that. And when we notice any of these, it's important to maybe 2-3 of them, so that they're happening too much. I would recommend that you talk to your doctor, your GP first, who will give you a proper assessment. And if you are clinically depressed, they can advise what to do. The whole world generally are moving away now from medicine. So don't be too, people sometimes are scared. They don't want to report them because they'll give them medicines for it. Generally, we begin to understand that some of these factors I've spoken to you about, if taken seriously, have a good support network, psychotherapy and everything, you find that you can do well. So I want to encourage you to seek help early. You see the early signs that you're not being yourself, you're not reacting properly, you're not sleeping well, you're not eating well, you're losing interest in life, you're getting too scared or frightened. Please get help. And especially in these times of hand washing and all that, people with OCD and anxiety, you may see that it's a little extra. You wash your hands 5 minutes, you want to go and wash your hands again, you want to sanitizer, it's becoming too much. That can be a sign. You realize that no, this is becoming irrational. You should talk to someone about it. I hope this helps.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mercy. I'm trying to, my laptop is a bit slow. I'm trying to unmute. Well, her question has been answered. Kudzo Seneadza had the answer up. Okay. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, good evening.
Okay, good evening.
Yes, I thought I saw a few other hands, so I thought I'll just forget about mine for now, so I can look it up on my own. But thank you, Doc, and greetings to my big boss. My question is, how I know it's a broad one. How bad is this situation of mental health or mental resilience in this country, Ghana, or maybe globally? Because some of us are not able to put it in perspective, proper perspective. We sometimes think that, okay, the people we see on the street who are obviously unwell are just the people who have mental health issues. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, good question, Mensa. Thanks. Mental health actually is one of the most overlooked issues in the world because it's the spectrum is huge, and it's not like, you know, one of the things that you have a cancer or something, so you're going to get help for it or you die. It's slowly killing us. I think statistically, it's difficult to get data on Ghana on these things. I'm sure it's there, but I haven't looked. But I know globally, would say that up to 90% of all adults at one stage in their lives would have had a mental health issue, especially anxiety. That's the commonest one, anxiety disorders. And that's a whole spectrum as well, from just a little anxiety to panic attacks and all that. And then depression is also quite common, but a big one is anxiety. Depression, I know that, for example, talk about the West, talk about America, UK, and all that. Number one prescription of all time has always been antidepressants. So that tells you the burden of the disease. More than antihypertensives, more than diabetes medicines, antidepressants and sleeping pills are the most prescribed medicines all over the world. So that tells you how big it is. A lot of people are suffering with issues that many do not know about. And unfortunately, we doctors too don't tend to think too much about the mental health side. When you come to us with a headache or with your leg paining you, we are looking at your body mainly, not realizing that statistics and studies have shown that up to 70% of all cases in the doctor's consulting room actually have their roots in mental health, stress. And then we'll just write some paracetamol for you, we'll give you medicines and you go home and we don't deal with the problem. That's why lifestyle medicine is becoming very important now. Now, a lot of doctors are realizing that when we see the patient, we don't just give you medicine for your diabetes and hypertension. We teach you about exercise and diet and meditation and all that. A lot of doctors are doing that now. But we're understanding that it's a big issue, and a lot of the physical issues are actually based on that. They have that as their foundation. So when we deal with the mental health issues, a lot of other issues get solved. Thanks.
Fantastic. Dr. Kudzo, thank you so much. There's a question in the text segment.
Okay.
Okay, so it says, Doctor, can you please expound on having someone to call at 2 a.m. when your car breaks down? I feel there are some people you can call if you are in danger or in need of something material, but you can't really call and tell them you are sad and can't quite figure out why you are sad, because then they wouldn't get it. Does that mean they aren't a good enough support system?
That's a deep question. So it's not just for physical needs or money or anything, but that social need, that emotional need. It's one of the biggest poverties when you don't have social capital. So thanks for asking this question so we can talk more about it. I would say that, yes, it's a big thing. And so I will encourage everyone to build close relationships, not just the social media likes and not likes and that kind of thing, but very intimate relationships, especially with our spouses. Everybody should have at least one person, or if you're not married, you're single, maybe one of your parents or your siblings. My brother Mensa will ask a question right now. I'm so close to him that I can talk to him about anything. It doesn't have to be a husband or wife or parents. It can be your brother, and it can be a friend. So you should, if you don't have that kind of relationship with anyone, please, please, please begin to work on it now. Make sure that you are, and the way to do it is to be there for other people. As you show interest in people, you ask them, oh, how are you doing? They say, I'm fine. Say, actually, how are you really, really doing? How are things with you spiritually? How are things with you emotionally? You know, ask deep questions. As you do that, people open up to you. And as they open up to you, they understand that you are also ready to open up to them. And so the day you need them and you call them and say, hey, I'm having this issue, they are more likely to listen. But if we have only superficial relationships, even in church, a lot of relationships are just superficial. Oh, hello, hi, how are you doing? Bless you, brother, bless you, sister, and then we are gone. But you should have a few people who you can genuinely talk to. They ask you, how are you? And you can actually blurt out to them. Whether it's anger, it's hatred, it's bitterness, it's joy, whatever it is, you can open up to them and know that they will listen to you without judging you. They will listen to you dispassionately, empathize with you, and encourage you. So let's work on that. If you don't have that, then you may have to just spend money and see a psychologist. Talk to a clinical psychologist or a counselor. Talk to someone else who can help you. Talk to your pastor. But at best is somebody who knows you well. So it's good to build the friendships. Unfortunately, many of us are married, but even the marriages, the friendship is not there. If you're in that kind of marriage, please work on that as well. And it starts with you. Don't depend on the other person. You start being caring to the other person. Start really being interested in them, helping them, asking them how things are, meeting their needs. The change will happen in the heart. And the day you need to talk to them, they will listen. Hopefully, I pray. Yeah. I'm not sure if that helps.
Okay. I guess there'll be a follow-up if the person needs more info.
Yes, I'm happy and I'm available as well. I'm happy to talk to people afterwards.
Okay. The last hand up is Emmanuel. So Emmanuel, I've unmuted you. Emmanuel Inkum. Hi, Emmanuel. Can you hear me?
All right. My question is quite straightforward. Is forgetfulness on how we can deal with such?
Sorry, there was a break, so I didn't get your question.
I was asking if forgetfulness is a mental health issue, and if it is, how do we deal with forgetfulness? Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good question. I think that it's quite a common issue as well, forgetfulness, especially as we get older. More and more of us find that our memories fail us. It depends on how bad it is. If it's just normal forgetting once in a while, I will advise that you do what my wife has always been asking me to do, because I'm a very forgetful person. Write notes. So she actually got me these sticker pads. You can see them here. And I put them, like right now, my laptop that I'm using, I've stuck them on it, on the keyboard. And I write. I have this at this time, this at that time. She's been trying to get me to do this for over 10 years now. So finally, I saw the light, because the memory is getting worse. And I write it down. Someone said that the worst ink outlasts the best memory. When you write it down, it helps you. So keeping a diary, keeping a journal, keeping little notes like this help. But if it's really, really bad and you think it's a health issue, I recommend that you talk to a doctor about it. It could be there's something going on in the body or in the mind that's causing it, and it can be looked at and maybe it can be solved. Then there are also tests and little tricks that people teach on how to improve your memory. I don't know them that well, but you could look online or talk to somebody for help on that. But a simple basic one that I do is just writing it down. Write down things that have to be done so you don't forget. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any questions again.
Okay.
Okay, Araba's hands is up. We still have, okay, we just have 5 minutes more. So Araba, let me mute Araba.
Thank you so much, Doc. It's good to see you again.
Can
you hear me?
I hear
Okay.
You.
Yeah, the problem. Yeah, thank you so much. This issue with mental health is very good, Doc. But then, how do you handle this? You know, you see that you have a problem, but here's the case: people see you not to have. So even when you approach these people to express your worries, your fears, they are like, oh, you don't have a problem. Oh, and you know you have a problem. And that kills. How do you handle that? Because you know you have a problem and all these things you've mentioned, you fall short one way or the other. You know psychologically you are breaking down, and I don't know if you understand me. But yes, people see you to be okay. You talk to your doctor said, oh, you are fine. You talk to your counselor, oh, you don't have a problem. You see, but you know you are dying inside.
Yeah.
Those I said.
Yeah. I think that it's a genuine issue. More of us doctors need to be more sensitive to people's emotional and psychological needs. A lot of us are not that sensitive. And so we tell you, oh, it's all in your mind. There's nothing wrong, you know. I've heard a lot of people complain about that. I think if you feel that nobody's really listening to you, you may have to talk to not just a lay counselor, but a clinical psychologist. If someone is in that situation, that's what I recommend, that you book an appointment to see a clinical psychologist, and they are trained to do assessments. They don't just listen to you and that's all. They have tools, assessment tools that they will give you. You will answer the questions, and then based on that, they can give you an assessment whether it's something really bad or nothing at all. So I will recommend that if there's anyone in that situation, please get a professional to do a proper assessment, look at it all, and then be able to help.
Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
most welcome. Most welcome. Yep, no more questions.
Okay. I think
Lisa has a hand.
Gloria has her hands up again. So we take that last one. We're going to send emails so that we can ask further questions after this meeting if you need help. So I'll take Gloria's question as the last one.
Okay. Thank you. Pastor Kudzo.
Yes, Auntie Gloria.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay, great. So this one is more like a follow-up to just the question that the lady asked. So there's been a few times that, I mean, we are talking about emotional intelligence and, emotional connection and all that. So, I mean, just a few months back, I took my son to the clinic. And then the physician, I mean, he's not the doctor that I've seen before. And I mean, so I'm asking, it doesn't really have to do with this, but I'm asking because of what the lady, the previous question. Okay. And I'm thinking that, for a child, at least the doctor has to make some connection with a child, I mean, for me, this is a little boy, so I'll just try to connect of a sort. But I saw that there was no emotional connection between the doctor and us. Even I tried to crack a joke. My son tried to say something. I thought it was funny, maybe because I'm his mom. But there was no smile from the doctor. He was just looking at us straight, looked at what the labs were saying, and then he wrote the medication. And I left very, very offended, I must say. So I'm like, because of what she has, and you are a medical doctor, so this is why I'm bringing this across, that sometimes you meet these people and you can tell that. So how do you even go ahead and even tell them more about how you're feeling? And if you encounter a physician like that, what should you do?
Wow, deep question. I think obviously it's a doctor who is focused on just the paradigm of health as a physical thing, thinking what we call the biophysical model of health. He forgets that people are emotional beings, they are mental beings, they are spiritual beings. And if you don't connect with people, then they may not even hear anything else you say. It's very unfortunate, but I think that more of us doctors have to be trained in these areas. If that happens, you can challenge him directly. And I have done that in the past. I've done that in the past where I took a patient once to a hospital in Accra, and I introduced myself and everything. And this doctor, just like what you are describing, he actually told me that, so if you're a doctor, why did you bring this patient to me? That's how bad it was. So I know what you're talking about. Sometimes emotionally, we don't connect at all. I asked him, he even told me, I don't feel like telling you my name. It was that bad. So I had to challenge him.
Wow.
I told him, no, I want your superior to come. I'm not ready. I don't have confidence in you as a doctor. Sometimes you have to challenge people. So you do a lot of patients. You tell the doctor, oh, doctor, you didn't ask about this or you didn't check about that, and that. I'll be grateful if you did this. Or if he's not ready, you can actually say, please, can I have a second opinion? Can I send that doctor here? I'm not happy with your service. We need to speak out a bit more, I think, so that more and more doctors and other healthcare workers should realize that we are treating whole human beings, body, soul, and spirit, not just bodies. So I'm sorry that happened, but we are all learning. and we are all growing. But learn to maybe also fight for it in future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yep. So I could see over to you.
Dr. Kudzo, amazing session. People keep sending me private messages.
Thank you.
People are blessed, and I hope they can keep in touch. So if you're on this meeting, God richly bless you for honoring our invitation. We just thought of this some few weeks ago when we put it together, and people also honored it. If you join via the link, that is the website, that means we have your credentials, and we're going to upload the video onto YouTube so that we can share with you. So if you didn't do that, just for us to have records of your credentials, you can go onto that link and RSVP.